And welcome to Candid Conversation. I hope everybody's doing well today. I am one half of your dynamic duo, King George, aka Mr. Knowledge Power. And this is my beautiful co-host, my one and only, the intelligent, my queen.
Oh, hey, Dr.Natalie, Nicole. Happy Sunday, everybody. How's everybody doing?
It's been a busy week, everybody. But
Yes.
yeah, come on in, get yourself settled. It's been a busy week.
Yes.
So we are literally exhausted, but we still got a show. The show must go on. But yeah, it's been a busy week. We rested a little bit today, trying to get our energy up. But yeah, we're gonna cover today the mayoral forum that they had at CSU. They also had, I think, the Urban League, young professionals of the Urban League provided the cocktails and candidates at Synovus. So we caught both. A little bit of Synovus. They kind of ran a little bit late, so we didn't get to, get into the meat and potatoes of the forum. But we did stick our heads in the door, and we did, stay for the beginning of it, and then we had to transition over to CSU for the mayoral debate. So yeah, put in the comment section, your questions, comments, concerns. Of course, we love your feedback. We love to have open dialogue, and that's how we learn and grow. So we appreciate it. I'm gonna get this to the quote for today. While you, is there anything you want to add?
No, I'm trying to get us open here. Let's see.
Let's see. But yeah, we hope everybody's doing well. And there was a lot going on this weekend, actually. They had the food truck festival going on. There was a No Kings rally, 3.0 march and protest going on. RMA gave away some clothes this weekend, yesterday actually. So yeah, there was a lot going on this weekend. But yeah, put in the comment section what you did, where you went, what you participated in.
Yes. So did you mention the No Kings? There was No Kings.
Yeah, No Kings.
Great turnout downtown.
Yeah.
And globally, or not globally, but nationwide, there were other states or cities that participated in the No Kings situation. So we had a big turnout here in Columbus.
Right.
Then you said the food truck situation?
Yeah, food truck festival.
Yeah, I hate we missed that. That's one of the things we typically check out and go to.
Yeah, but there's going to be another one, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, and what else did you say, honey?
Yeah, there was, the food truck festival. We gave away clothes, and the King's March.
Okay.
Yeah, as far as I know, No King's March.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. RMA gave away free clothing on Saturday to close out our Women's History Month. This was the third annual one. And thank you so much to those who came out. We had Ms. Trailer, who is a donor to Role Model Academy. She gives every month supporting scholarships for students. And then we also had candidate for District 7, Ms. Richardson, to come out and bring items as well to donate to the citizens here in Columbus, Georgia.
Right.
And then we had people come in the community and grab them a few items, very nice, some with tags on it, and very nice items. And we were happy to, do that this weekend.
Yeah. And again, we are exhausted.
Yes.
So bear with us.
Yes.
We're trying to get the energy up. But
yes.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all hanging in there and the patience.
Okay. You did your quote already, honey?
No.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, if I can find it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but just bear with us.
So while you do that, I'll talk a little bit about on yesterday. Also, we closed out Women's History Month with our annual Women's History celebration. And everyone was so beautiful in their different shades of pink.
Yeah.
We honored 6 women on yesterday. Dr. Shay Anderson, Miss Lady Lynn Green of First Baptist African Church. I think I said that correctly. Also, Candace Davis, She's a small business owner here in Columbus, Georgia. And also, who else was there? Z Lawrence, our musician queen of Columbus, Georgia. And then there was Verna Jordan, a small business owner here in Columbus, Georgia. And there's one more.
I think that's everybody.
I feel like I missed
Sherrington.
Miss Lackland, yes. And she's an educator, a guidance counselor, director, in our school district. And so, awesome women, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity to honor you. And thank you for what you're doing in our communities. We are truly blessed to have you all in our community. In addition to that, we want to thank our Vice President of Role Model Academy, Ms. Melissa Jordan. She did an excellent job, in addition to Ms. Carissa Beard, in hosting, emceeing the event on last night as well. We had our photographer in there. We were at Warehouse 9 with Chef Derek as the chef for the evening. It turned out really well. Also, shout out to Major Turner and his beautiful wife. They graced us with their presence. Right. We were so happy to have them also in the building. Is there anybody I'm leaving out?
No, I think there's a
lot of new faces. Beautiful faces. People we have not met in the community, but very nice, beautiful energy. Lady Gant of Faith, she has an organization. They were present in full effect in all of their shades of pink. So just a wonderful event. Thank you all so much for your support. We cannot do it alone, and so every donation, every sponsor, every ticket, you contributed to helping us honor these ladies in our community, and we are so grateful for that. So grateful.
Yes, indeed.
You found your quote, honey?
Yeah, the quote for today is from Nelson Mandela, and it reads, "The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall."
Okay.
Nelson Mandela, and everything that he went through, being in prison for 25 years. I don't know how many people can say that they could go to prison for 25 years and still be optimistic.
Right. No.
And still be, hopeful and still have the energy to keep moving forward. So,
right.
Yeah, Nelson Mandela, great man.
Okay, honey. Awesome. Okay. So we were going to get started into tonight the review of because it's election season, y'all. It's election season.
Yeah.
Of the dates and things that we got going on.
Yeah, so the first thing we'll do is we'll make sure everybody's informed on the election calendar. So I'll go over that real quick.
Okay.
Voter registration deadline, April 20th, 2026. Advanced voting starts April 27th. Advanced voting ends May 15th. The absentee ballot request started March 2nd and it ends May 8th. And then the first day to issue mail ballots is April 20th. From there, June 16th is the runoff election if necessary. So we'll go over those dates, if needed. Okay.
And so I think there's a forum coming up this week that I'm looking forward to being able to sit and glean from the candidates.
Okay.
I think District 7, District 3,
yes,
and District 9, is it also?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. Do you need to hear any more from the candidates? How do you feel? I think on our next session we're going to endorse.
The stage is set. Everything I need to hear and see, I've already come to a conclusion of who I feel like is the best candidate for each district and mayor.
Okay. So I'm looking forward to on our next candidate discussing who those people are. But there's certain people I haven't heard from yet. When we were at the council, what do you call it, honey? The young professionals cocktail forum. Some people were not able to be there. They already had previous engagements. So that was District 7, Miss Ash, and then also I don't know if Crab is going to show up ever at any of our.
And listen, how do y'all feel about that? How do you feel about
or Gaskins? I believe this is intentional that they're not showing up to specific forums because they are showing up to some. They are having their own personal forums where they're comfortable and they're talking with like-minded people.
Yeah.
And that look like them.
That part.
They just had one. Carmen Rice, Mark Pentrail, and Crab. They're going to places where they're comfortable, where the narrative is going to be controlled, and they're not concerned with being held accountable, with questions that they may not be comfortable answering.
Right. And that's why I wanted to stay at the cocktails and candidates forum longer, because in that environment, I feel like you're going to get tougher questions. Now, we did hear, I think,
that first question.
The first question.
And it was excellent.
But that's what you need.
Excellent.
That's what you need when you go into these forums. Tough questions.
What is the day-to-day job of a council person? And I'm paraphrasing.
That was
Was
the
that
question.
the first question?
What is city council's responsibility, or what does city council do?
On a day-to-day basis. And that question right there, if you were not able to answer it, it was very telling. If you were stumbling amongst your words, or if you were letting things come out that had nothing to do with what your job was, it was very telling. And telling in the sense that you're not in. If you don't know what you're running for and what your day-to-day position and duties are going to be, exactly what are you running for?
Exactly. So you gotta, voters gotta be informed to be able to tell if
that part.
if the candidates are answering the questions with knowledge or not.
That part.
But from what I can see, a lot of these forums, they're not asking the tough questions. Now, we didn't get a chance to stay for the cocktails and candies.
I thought that was a pretty tough question.
No, it was.
That was good.
But I'm just saying, for the most part, you're not getting that. So that's what's needed. That's what's needed. Even with the mayoral forum, I feel like the questions weren't tough.
Right. So just to say on the young professionals, that question is not a hard question. So the fact that, people were not able to answer it, again, that's very telling. If you don't know what you're running for and what your duties are, then, that communicates very loud and clear that you're not it.
I agree. So,
Other than that, the setting was beautiful. The atmosphere was beautiful, very professional. They did an excellent job. And again, like you said, I wish we could have stayed longer. But what we thought is it was supposed to start at 5:30.
Right.
We were going to stay for at least 45 minutes to an hour and then transition to the 6:30 mayoral candidate. But it transitioned a little bit longer, and so we had to leave prior to that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but most of the candidates were there, and we did get a chance to hear their openings. What did you think about that? Them introducing themselves.
I wasn't. To me, that part is not something that I can say was either good or bad. Like, it's just an introduction of who they are. Now, I will say this: I feel like some of the candidates didn't give an in-depth look or a quick synopsis of who they are and why they're running. So I felt like there was a little bit of rambling going on. Yeah. And some of them didn't actually tell us who they are and why they're running. So.
Right. And the one that sticks out the most to me is, Dr. Van Doren. He's very well spoken. I don't believe he needed a piece of paper to read, and so that kind of caught me off guard that he was reading from a piece of paper for the intro of who you are. Some of them, I don't believe they answered the question, and my best for the evening was Mrs. Cindy Barnes.
While she answered her question?
Yes, she actually walked around and she, talked about who she was and why she was running, and she was very concrete and specific about why she was running. No fluff, and I appreciated that.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So
if you guys are there, put in the comment section of what you liked, what you didn't like, what would you like to have seen them do better? Because like I said, we couldn't, we couldn't stay.
Right.
So we don't really have all of the, the facts to give, because we were only there for we were there almost an hour. Yeah. But it didn't start on time, so we couldn't give a fair assessment, really.
So all we got was the intro and that first question. And again, that first question was very telling, because if they weren't able to, explain their duties as a city councilor or what they understand it to be,
Mm-hmm.
then that pretty much told us all we needed to know.
Right, right.
Yeah, and I believe like some people feel like they can get by on personality and smiles and hey and how y'all doing and that's gonna cut it. And I hope that is not the case for most voters. I hope that they are actually looking for substance and looking for receipts. I had a conversation on Saturday as it regards how I feel, and of course, you know, we've talked about this. When people assert that they have been in a community for 26 years, 25 years, or I grew up here, and you say that there are issues, things are not going well, or what have you, that is not, you know, a bonus for me. That is not, oh, yay, you're the person for me.
Because they are a native of Columbus, or because
They've recognized issues or concerns.
Okay.
On the other end of that, to me, my first question is, okay, well, what line of receipts do you have that you have been working on or contributing to fix these issues? Because if you're waiting for a position or a title to say, oh, now that I'm running for city council or I'm running for mayor, now I'm going to get in and start working on these things. I don't consider that leadership. I believe leadership is something that you are operating in on a day-to-day basis, not something that you turn on and turn off when it's election season. So, you know, what's your thoughts on that?
I agree. You got to have a body of work,
right?
For people to point to say, okay, we trust this person because they have shown this, and this. So yeah, you got to put the work in.
Right.
Really.
So, for instance, if you say, you know, potholes are an issue, or if you say, you know, we don't have lights in our community. If you say things of that nature, have I seen you on the public agenda? Do you have records that you contacted your city councilor, the current one that you do have, or the mayor, suggesting, hey, we need help with these things? To me, that's putting in the work and trying to figure out how you can solve those problems. And that better contributes to me understanding that you're a leader and you're going to work for us, as opposed to telling us what you will do and just being able to point out the issues.
Yeah. So if you haven't laid a body of work, the only thing for me that can save you in being a serious candidate is if you come from government already.
Yeah.
Like if you've already been in government, then to me, you're already knowledgeable and you can hit the ground running.
Absolutely.
Versus somebody who hasn't been in government, they don't have that background. Day one, you know, they're lost.
Absolutely. And you know, that's what it's going to be. You're going to be lost because you don't have any experience in government whatsoever. And what I was thinking about is who, you know, orientates the CEO? Who puts them in position to be an effective leader day one? You understand what I'm saying? If they're the top chief executive, who's showing them the ropes? Brand new, no government experience, no working in government whatsoever. Like, how are they gonna transition into a position like that and make it work?
So are you saying the candidate? How's the candidate?
Yeah, you think about that? You consider that?
So I mean,
I go in my office, I sit at my desk, and what do I do now?
Right,
you know?
right. Yeah, it's
especially if you don't know anything.
It's going to be tough. Now, I will say this. Other counselors around that table are supposed to bring you along. They're supposed to.
Oh, for the mayor?
Because, well, so you're talking about
I'm talking about the mayor. The
okay,
top
well, yeah,
chief
see.
exec-
Well, even there's a learning curve for the mayor, I believe. Like, yes, you may have proven leadership, but this is a different arena.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So there's going to be a learning curve, but it's a different learning curve for somebody who's never been in leadership, never, you know what I mean? So,
no city council, no government, no anything.
So to answer that question, it may have to be the mayor pro tem that's going to bring, that's all I can say. The mayor pro tem has to bring this person along if they don't have the experience and the know-how coming in.
You think about that? And so that's...
Now that you bring it up. I mean, I thought about it as far as the city council candidates.
Yeah.
Now that you bring it up about the mayor,
Taxpayer dollars.
Right.
Time being wasted, you know.
Listen, I don't think the citizens of Columbus are going to let us down and put somebody in there who I hope they don't. You know, I hope we don't get somebody in there who's going to get in there and have to be, you know, trained on the job.
Yes.
Our city can't afford it. We cannot afford somebody in there who just learning on the job.
Right.
Yeah, we need somebody that's going to hit the ground running.
And again, for me, it's, if you do not have any documented evidence right now that you've been in this city, you've been living here, and you have not contributed to the issues that you're bringing to the forefront.
For mayor?
For any of it, city council or mayor, then that's a red flag for me. It's a red flag for me.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because anybody can find issues. We can find issues all day, but what are the solutions? And that's what sets us apart from leaders and those who are just, going to point out the concerns.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, listen, I'm glad you brought that up so we can segue into the mayoral forum or / debate at CSU. But before we get into that, I didn't know, I don't know if you already knew this, but the candidates that are running for mayor only, initially, they were only going to invite, 2 of them?
Yeah.
Because they didn't meet the threshold for donations or?
That's for WRBL. So the one that WRBL is hosting, yeah, $25,000.
Wait, so this is a different, so the one we went to was not the one?
Yeah, this was for the Young Dems.
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
They didn't have any requirements.
Now you sure?
I'm positive. Everybody was welcome.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
WRBL, on the other hand, though, for the mayoral forum that they're going to have, and I believe it's going to be in April, their requirement was $25,000 donations, right?
Right. Now, is this one going to be at CSU too?
Yes.
Okay, so why do you think that is?
For the $25,000?
Yeah, initially. Now, I want to change it because of the
some
backlash.
people have problems with it. I didn't have a problem with it. Everybody has standards. Everybody has, prerequisites for certain things. And so basically to me, I mean, $25,000 is pretty up there, but they're saying those are the front runners. Those are the people who the city has spoken donation-wise that they plan to support. So what's your thoughts about that? How do y'all feel about that?
Yeah, I don't like it. I disagree.
You disagree?
Yeah, I don't like it because to me that signals that it's a premeditated effort to silence basically the other candidates, in my opinion. Because just because they didn't raise the money doesn't mean they're not a serious candidate. So I feel like they did this to say, okay, they raised the $25,000, so they're a serious candidate and they're a front runner. But I don't think that. I think that's discriminatory. Like I don't like it.
I love it, honey. I love it. So it's what are you pulling out the weeds and get straight to what is what? That's how I feel about it. I'm okay with it.
Because listen, we saw in I wouldn't say the mayor's race, but in the previous races for city at large seat, we had a candidate who was brilliant, but because he didn't have the influence and he didn't have the coins, I feel like he got left behind.
Well, and he didn't win, so that's how things kind of go.
Well, but I do understand. Like, who contributes to your platform, who contributes to your campaign is telling.
Yeah.
And normally, I think throughout history, the people with the most donations usually are the front runners.
Right.
Because that signals the people are basically speaking. These are the people that are, the best candidates.
Yeah, and that candidate that you're speaking of, like, if in our perfect world, if we could have made them the winner, we would have made them the winner. As speaking wise, knowledge wise, they were on point with everything that was required, that was needed to be an excellent person for that position.
Right.
However, the dynamics are different with community and who they support. So
yeah, those donations don't come in.
Yeah.
People, they feel like they're not serious. They're not the front runner.
So Miss Mallard, how you doing, beautiful?
Hey, how you doing?
It's true, I agree. When you come out of the pocket with your own funds, that's pretty serious. Okay. Yeah. So that's pretty serious. And I think what you're saying is that your own funds may not be $25,000, but that still means you're a very serious candidate and should be considered among the rest. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. But I also get that, between entities, if that's what they said as a prerequisite for you to, it's like in college. In order for you to get to this course, you had to been taking these courses first in order to be able to get into that course. So I feel like they just kind of set like a little standard of what, to make it interesting. And listen, I'm okay with it.
Nah, I don't think that's right. Yeah, I think you gotta give everybody a fair shot, a fair shake. You know what I mean? Even if because I feel like it's a concerted effort by WRBL and who's their affiliate? I think Nexstar or something like that. But I think they are the ones who are basically saying without saying, these are the people that you should consider.
But they are. That's the going consensus, though.
But still, everybody deserves a fair shake. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, they could have brought it down to $10,000. They could have brought it down to $10,000 because most of the other candidates haven't raised $10,000, and of course, Brialt is just now joining the game. So $25,000 was steep. However, they could have brought it down some, and still some would not have made the cutoff. It's just a standard,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I feel like it's not. Yeah.
Everything in life is not free now. I mean, free or fair. That's what I was saying.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Free or fair.
Yeah.
Before we keep it moving, right? We also saw Denise at the Mayoral Forum, and she has these beautiful books, and I'm going to share these later in this thread so that you can get your copy for this election season. Now, I've taken a lot of notes about what's been said and what's been going on, and so make sure you see her, Denise Cambridge, and get your Candidate Forum notebook. It is very well put together, very well organized, where you can take your notes and as you attend these forums and kind of see and reference your notes and what you like and what you don't like about the candidates.
Yeah, and if you just joined us tonight, we're talking about the forum that was just at CSU that the Young Dems had, also the Cocktails and Candidates Forum that they had at Synovus. If you were there, make sure you put in the comment section your thoughts on the candidates and how well they spoke or not. But yeah, we can jump right into it.
Very, very nice space. I love the young professionals.
We need to see about booking that space. And see if we can get in contact.
Yeah,
and see what the requirements are.
Okay. So we got to the mayoral forum for the Young Dems after they did their when they talked about who they were. So they started off with Mr. LaJoy. Of course, he's a veteran. He says he's had over 40 years in law enforcement, 14 years here in Columbus, and that he's worked in very large budgets. And that's mostly what he suggested. Married over 35 years, and his wife was in the audience.
Yeah.
And then we had, do you want to talk about that before I move on to the next
What's
one?
that?
Mr. LaJoy, what he brings to the table as a mayoral candidate.
Not really. I mean, I think the viewers listen. You gotta bet each person yourselves. I don't need to hear unless you just want to run it down.
Yeah, he's about law and order. That's all we know for sure. He's about law and order. Over 40 years in law enforcement, 14 years here in Columbus, and he's big on suggesting there's gangs and Columbus is not safe.
Yeah, and there are gangs.
Yeah,
we already know that. There's gang activity.
Yeah, and so while he did work 14 years here in Columbus, to support those efforts, one would ask why had he transitioned somewhere else?
Why did he? Or
why is he not still serving here in the sheriff or the police department here
66.
to combat what we have going on in Columbus?
That's a good question.
If he's really gung-ho about taking care of the crime here in Columbus.
That's a good question. Yeah, I believe that he may feel like he's already done his work, and now the next step is to go run for mayor to, I guess, further, do his work.
Okay, interesting.
So, yeah.
Interesting. All right, the next young man was Brialt. Very interesting character.
To say the least.
Previous to now, I've just seen him on the big billboards, right? No Fault Call Brialt or something like that.
Yeah.
And that he wins lots of funds as it regards cases, like one of the larger winners here in the Columbus City area. But he is a native of Columbus, Georgia, went through the elementary, middle schools, Jordan High School.
Yeah.
And
Columbus High School.
Not Columbus, Jordan.
No, he went to both.
He said he dropped out.
Right. I think he went to Columbus High first, and then he went to Jordan High. He dropped out of Jordan.
Okay, so
Yeah, that's what I believe I heard.
okay, and then he went to got his GED and then got his law degree. He's had a law firm here in Columbus, Georgia for more than 10 years.
Yes.
And so he was a very interesting young person on the forum. Brought some life to it. It seems like he was a little bit all over the place, but very interesting. What's your thoughts?
Well, that's why I'm ready to jump in. Like,
Oh,
I feel
okay,
like
okay.
this introduction is not interesting.
Okay, well, all right. Let me move on then. Okay, Kelly, no ties to the local government. That was one of his first statements to local government or business.
Yeah.
He's a small business owner. He has an MBA that he received from Georgia Southern. He is running for voices that have not been heard or taken care of. And that's why he believes he would make a good mayor. Kogel, the first thing she said was it's hard to be nervous when you can't see everybody, which is not strong language, in my opinion, coming from someone who's running for mayor. So I was a little bit caught off guard by that. But she's a military spouse, small business owner. She's been on the council for 3 years. Now, mind you, she suggested that the 3 things that she's accomplished or contributed to accomplishing while on council for 3 years was lowering property taxes, earned the reputation for being for everyone in Columbus, and then also things that she wants to work on is, making Columbus the safest city in Georgia and one of the best cities to do business. Also clean and well-maintained buildings. That one right there took me somewhere. All right. And then she believes that full new leadership is what's going to make it possible. And then let's see, who was the other person? Dr. Bryant. She started off saying that she's not a career politician. She's a mom, a counselor, educator, and advocator. She wants to speak out and speak up for all the voices that have been silenced. She believes that our political system is broken and is corrupt, and that there's a lot of political talk but no solutions. And so she's trained government officials and CEOs. She has a PhD in leadership, and she'd like to do the same for Columbus, Georgia. And then finally, Mr. Hughley, he just started off setting the tone that he's not here to argue.
Right.
He's not here to dredge up, the division or things that's been going on here in Columbus. He's a native of Columbus, Georgia. Something we learned new is that he has an honorary doctorate from his college. He is here to present a vision, a plan, a path forward for Columbus. And so that was their beginning opening statement from all of the mayoral candidates. So, okay, where are we going from there?
So let me see.
Overall, how did you feel about the forum as a whole?
I didn't feel good about it. I was actually disappointed.
Oh.
Yeah, I felt like we were let down.
Oh.
Because overall, and granted, we were a little bit late, but we were there for the majority of the forum. I didn't hear anything that specifically said what they were going to do to move Columbus forward.
Okay.
Like, there was no metrics except for Mr. Hughley. I think he was the only one. And Jaketra, I give Jaketra Dr. Bryant her kudos, because she did have some analytics, you know what I mean, to offer.
Right.
As far as, and some metrics too. So
some research.
Those two were the only two that I could say actually gave a concrete plan of what they want to see or how they plan to move the city forward in some areas.
Okay.
So
I would say the audience was full of people.
Yeah, it was packed.
Young Dems did a great job of advertising, getting out into the communities and making sure people showed up.
Well, I don't think that had anything to do with them.
They did,
But
honey.
go ahead.
They hosted the event and the Invisibles.
Right.
Well, I'm saying this because I've seen them canvassing and passing out flyers. So they did put in the work to make sure people showed up.
Well, I say that because I believe people are going to show up regardless. the mayoral candidates, but that's just my opinion.
Okay, and then they had their moderators at the top. She did a great job of making sure time and asking questions and things of that nature. And in the event that they didn't ask the question that was asked, you know, they followed up again. And the format was pretty good. They had a yes and no, rapid answers, things of that nature. So overall, I believe the Young Dems and the Indivisibles did an excellent job with hosting this event. And congratulations on the turnout. Of course, as you walked in, people were set up, candidates were set up, and you can go to their tables and get additional information. So all of that was great. But as you said, I was not impressed either with the quality of the answers from the candidates.
Yeah, now the questions were great questions.
Yes.
Don't get us wrong, the questions were great questions.
Yes.
But the answers, like you said, but I'll let you land your plane.
Oh, no, go ahead. I'm okay with the conversation.
Were you done?
No,
because I didn't want to cut you off like I cut you off. But yeah, they didn't answer the questions. It was just a bunch of rambling. You know what I mean? But they didn't. So sometimes the moderator had to ask it again and tell them, this is the question.
Right.
So yeah, for me, when it came to like Border Patrol and ICE, some of them answered it like, hey, I will support ICE, or no, I won't support ICE. And then some of them just went all the way around the world and came back and we still didn't know.
Right. You know. Now, specifically, there was one question that stood out in my mind that she asked them that no one answered. She asked them about previous shortcomings and how they would improve them, right? Yeah. So, and she asked as it regards like cooperation, productivity between with integrity between the mayor, the city council, and the city manager, right? And no one answered it. She followed up again. She's like previous shortcomings and how would you improve them? No one answered that question with honesty, right? They answered it talking about other things. Kogels had talked about the mayor's concerns and issues with communication, but how did that involve her whatsoever? I can't remember what Mr. Hughley said about previous shortcomings, but they didn't answer the questions. Yeah, so that was basically the theme all night. Like they didn't do a good job for the most part of answering the question correctly. Right, being very specific on the questions. And overall, like my concern is that I think Columbus as a whole is tired of the status quo of what we have had in government for the past 3 years. And even if you had the experience, we still want fresh government, fresh ideas, fresh vision moving forward. Does that make sense? It makes sense. I mean, and it's needed. I don't necessarily agree that. So yeah, we do need a fresh set of eyes in there. You know what I mean? But I think you need a balance of both. You need fresh ideas, but you also need that experience in there too. Right. And I don't know how we're going to tackle that because I do believe, like, you know, I just have a concern about that. Listen, we got to get to the polls. We got to get to the polls. And we have to keep doing what we're doing, which is having a conversation and making sure people are informed about the candidates, because that's the only way that you move the needle. That's the only way that you change the future is by asking the uncomfortable questions, making sure people are informed about who the candidates are, what they bring to the table, and if they're serious or not. Yeah. So I think that's the best way you go about it, because like you said, if we don't, then you're going to keep getting the same status quo. Right. Because some people may not have the funds, but they are qualified. True. You know what I mean? So they don't get the same visibility as somebody like Isaiah Hughley or Joanne Kogel, who has major contributions and donors. And Kogel is she's not mayor material at all. Well, what do y'all say? But she's got the funds. She's got the funds, but she's not mayor material at all. Well, I wouldn't say that she has the funds, because these people are contributing. That's what it's all about. Who contributes to your campaign? You know, what circles you're in, what coalitions that you're a part of, what organization that you're a part of, what civic group that you're a part of, because these are the people who are basically making the decisions. They're coming together behind the scenes and getting stuff done. And I think that's how it goes in Columbus. Yeah, and so what I'm saying like goes back to WRBL.
Mm-hmm.
She makes that criteria for $25,000,
Right.
even though she's not a qualified candidate. That's what I'm trying to say. So, in that instance, like that's not fair for me.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Mallard says experience is something to tackle because in some cases experience could mean compromise. True.
Yeah. So, and that's what a lot of people have that question when it comes to Mr. Hughley, because he's been the city manager for what, 40 years, 30
Over
years?
40 years in government. So 20 years, I think, city manager, 20 years in government.
Yeah, so you can't deny his experience with city government, the budget, the know-how, and the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But some people feel like, yeah, it's time. Even though
Mm-hmm.
he's been there and done that,
Mm-hmm.
it's time for a fresh set of eyes or changing of the guard.
Right, because we don't want the same foolishness that we've had to go through these past 3 years.
Yeah.
But what I will say in regards to that is that city manager and mayor are two different positions. And
Right.
what I feel like is people continue to just see him as city manager,
Mm-hmm.
but he's running for mayor. And then if you're going to be fair,
Mm-hmm.
if you're going to hold him responsible for all of these things, like, we had this conversation from a military perspective. When you are taking care of soldiers,
Mm-hmm.
you're the person that's held accountable for everything.
Right.
Everything. My soldier overslept and they show up for formation, I'm on the red carpet.
Mm-hmm.
Where's your soldier at? Why aren't they here? My soldier got a DUI, I'm on the red carpet. Same thing, I believe, for the city manager. Everything that went wrong, people
Mm-hmm.
stealing, people not showing up for work, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
he's on the red carpet. But does that make him a bad leader? Does that make me a bad leader or the catch-all for everything that every one of my soldiers has done? You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
Well, in some instances, yeah, you are responsible. Like, you are the catch-all.
No.
When we're talking about the military now,
I know, but I'm just trying to say, I don't drink. So, you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
if my soldier got a DUI,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I'm responsible for my soldier getting that DUI, but it's not my personal fault, if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense. So, they're just making him the scapegoat. A lot of people just want him to be the reason for everything that has gone wrong as far as, animal control, or there's the finances and
Mm-hmm.
this big, fallout from that. Yeah, so once that came out, I felt like it was across the board, they blamed him for
Mm-hmm.
everything. And there was even people at the forum screaming out, "Where's our money? What did you do with the money?"
Right, right.
So yeah, it's unfair, but like you said, life is not fair.
Right.
So when you're in that space, when you're in leadership positions, you got to take the good with the bad.
And I'm tracking that. But what I feel like people don't understand is that just because things are going wrong, that doesn't mean that you just get to, because where's the mayor, the actual mayor in all of this? Where did he ever come forth and say, "Hey, I'm the chief executive officer. Hey, let me take responsibility for this, or let me take responsibility"? Where did he ever step forward and take the heat for anything? He allowed all of it to fall on the city manager. And the city manager and the mayor's office are two different situations. So I think that when people are saying, "Oh, well, look what he's done as a city manager, how can he be a mayor?" There's apples and oranges to me.
Yeah, but I understand it. It's not fair, but I understand why they're doing it, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And some people are not able to differentiate between, hey, there's two different things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're just looking at, and I get it. They're looking at. They can't get past him being the city manager.
Right.
That's what it boils down to.
Right.
They just can't.
And not
they can't
personal
get past
infractions.
That. Right.
Not personal infractions.
Right.
Individual infractions that everything gets put on, bam, you are the poster child for everything. And I get that comes with leadership.
Well, I wouldn't say everything, but they did put
everything.
They did put the hot topics or the things that were they deemed as destroying our city. They put on him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And of course,
the budget, all of the things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so nothing for the city manager, nothing for the actual person that's the finance director, right? She still has a job. So, it's a lot of underlying, confusion for me that is aligned with this.
Yeah.
That I hope that people can see the difference. There's a difference between being a city manager, which we're going to have a new city manager, and God bless whoever that's going to be. and then a mayor, because all of the things that went wrong, they put it at the city manager's feet, but the mayor got no responsibility for any of that. He's still sitting as mayor.
Yeah, they put it at the city manager's feet because there was an effort to get rid of him. That's, there was an ulterior motive to get rid of him. And the next city manager won't have to deal with that.
Well, let's hope not.
I don't think they want to deal with that.
Paul's, our tax dollars went to Paul's. They need to be showing up at these city council meetings. They need to give a report of what's going on, because they still need volunteers. They still need supplies. They still need, so this is different leadership. The animals may be treated better by kind and loving people, but where are all of those people who showed up in the chambers, on the public agenda? They all should be lined up also volunteering. We shouldn't be on the news saying we need volunteers. Like, where are those people at?
Yes, it's no excuse for that, and it's unfortunate, but that's what's happening right now.
Ms. Mallard said animal control is a hot mess. It was a strategy that has failed results.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And it's still a hot mess, but we paid over $3 million to transition it to another organization, and it's still a problem.
Yeah, so the next mayor and city manager got to deal with that fallout.
Right. So it's still a problem, but again, where are the people at?
Right.
For every person, all the 20 plus people that showed up on the public agenda, they should be on rotation, volunteering at the pause, so that there's not a new situation saying we need volunteers.
Yeah.
We need towels. RMA donated towels. They still have need for things, but I understood this was supposed to be a transition to better. And I don't necessarily see that is what's going on.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to feel about the community who showed up so much and they're not showing up right now. You see? I don't know.
Yeah. I think they pick and choose. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But
yeah,
let's get back into the forum.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And what you think and what I think of, and what the viewers think of the answers that were given, or how they scored.
All right, so criminalization. They were asked about
that's a hot topic.
How do they feel about criminalizing homelessness?
Yeah.
Camps. So Brialt, or let's start with Mr. Hughley. He said that's a no. He doesn't feel that's the correct thing to do.
Yeah.
LaJoy, easy question. That's a no. And then we had Brialt, who said yes and no.
Yeah.
He suggested that, it depends on where the camps are. You can't, let them take control of public areas, things of that nature.
Yeah, he had a good answer.
Yeah, it was an honest answer. It was an honest anster.
It was supposed to be yes or no.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he, was kind of doing his own thing the whole night of going a little further than he was supposed to. But what do y'all say about criminalizing homelessness? Now, for me, there needs to be, I don't think you throw people in jail. Like, I think, jail should be the last resort, especially when it comes to homelessness. Now, what I do agree with what Mr. Brialt said was, when it comes to homelessness, some people choose to be homeless. Like, they don't want help.
Yes.
They don't want to get off the street. Now, those people you have to address, you know what I mean? Because you do have the single mothers. You do have some families who are displaced by whatever reason. It could be medical bills. It could be a fire. It could be anything that causes people to become homeless. We don't know. So I think it should be a case-by-case basis, and you should give people the benefit of the doubt and help them try to find shelter. Now, if they continuously refuse it, okay, then we start looking at other options.
Right.
But you don't just, throw people in jail.
Right.
They're already homeless.
Imposing a $1,000 fine and giving you up to 8 days to relocate yourself.
Yeah.
And so and I will continuously say this, where the city failed, where Charmaine Crabb and all of those who voted to criminalize homelessness is where they failed is there's a task force out there somewhere that they created after the fact.
Yeah.
And now we have not received an update regarding that task force. The city provided funds to support this task force.
Yeah.
We have not received any updates. Them understanding the dynamics of the different things that go along with shelter.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a son and a daughter, well, you're disqualified from this kind of shelter.
Yeah.
If you have pets or you have a whole lot of stuff, you're disqualified from this. So understanding all these different dynamics, the research should have been done. The task force should have been implemented first to figure out, instead of a $50 million baseball field, instead of all these other things that they're working on to combat and to take care of our citizens in our community.
Yeah.
And I get it. Some people want to live off the grid. Well, provide them a space to do that. Provide
I don't
it.
agree with
And
that.
tell them, listen, yes, tell them you can't live off of Victory Drive. You can't live, in vacant businesses. But if you want to live off the grid, this is free land for you to go ahead and do that. I don't know, because a lot of them are veterans, honey.
Well,
a lot of them are veterans.
Be that as it may, this is the thing for me and the issue I have with living off the grid. I feel like everybody needs to be present and accounted for. And you can't account for folks off the grid, so when stuff is happening.
What do you mean present and accounted for?
Well, how do you know these people might have a whole drug den going on?
No, honey.
I'm just telling you now, the point I'm trying to make is everybody needs to be accounted for.
Yes,
but there need to be folks in the woods, off the grid. No.
So a lot of the people that I would say that prefer,
you don't throw them in jail. You don't do that.
That prefer to live off the grid are military background, and so if they want to give them some space on Fort Benning and allow them to live,
that's their idea. That's what you do. You partner with Fort Benning.
Yeah.
And y'all come up with a plan to house, especially the veterans.
Yeah.
Not let them camp.
Let them camp, because if they want to camp outside, let them camp.
I used to work with, you don't even know where I'm going with this, but I used to work for the Army as a contractor. I'm former Navy, but I used to work for the Army on Fort Benning, and there's a bunch of mock cities that they use for training that they no longer use that look like houses. You know what I mean? They could go in there, do some small construction, fix those up, and let the veterans live there.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay. That's camping to me, yeah.
Well, but you can control that though, because you got the military police, you know what I mean? You can control that versus folks just here and there and all over the place. You can't really control that.
Yeah, so let me get these comments real quick. Ms. Mallett, the pause humane saturated the council agenda and choked out the light and the more important issues. Yes, they did. Not sure about criminalizing it, but we have noticed that the homeless population is less prevalent. There isn't a real solution in place. Why find a homeless person? Absolutely, up to $1,000, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's a complex issue. I agree that the task force should have devised a plan first. And there should be a central homeless line and a pathway established. Absolutely.
Right, it's too easy.
Yeah.
It's too easy.
Yeah, you have the temporary situations like Brielle mentioned about the, a single mom, and, they transition into a hotel if they can't live with family. And the next thing you know, it's a car. And what is our city doing to really help these people? Because shelters are full, and
how many shelters do you know? Because I don't know a lot of them. 200,000 plus people.
Right. So shelters are full, and then you have the dynamics of what mother, you can't separate your children, son and daughter. So instead of working on those things first and figuring out how to help them and give them solutions, the first thing their thought was to criminalize it. Up to 8 days. And now it's another camp forming right there on Victory Drive, and let's see how that unfolds. It's unfortunate.
Well, they're not too concerned. As long as you're on the south side and you're camping, I don't think they're too concerned in certain areas. It's only when you're visibly, in the public eye or in certain areas where they feel like it's gonna scare investors or Or they say above Macon Road. Like if you have camps on Macon Road or above Macon Road, you're gonna have a problem.
Yeah, and I told you off of it's connected to 12th Street, but I don't think it's 2nd Avenue. I don't know what road it is, honey, but it's by the Habitat place where you can go in and buy used furniture and things of that nature.
Off of River Road?
It's Victory Drive. Oh yeah, and River Road is behind it. I think so. Yeah. So there was a camp there, just one tent, and the gentleman had a no trespassing sign on the outside of his tent, and I thought that was interesting. So when you're right there by business, right there, in the public, you're gonna invite, invite challenges in that sense, and so. I believe we should provide a place where they can, if they want to stay out on the land and a place where they can go. Just like you have for RVs, people that want to live in their RVs, they have a camp, a place they can park and pull in and live. I think that's an alternative to providing homeless, unhoused people a place so that, we're giving you a place where you can stay.
Yeah. But
this can't be it. You understand?
No, yeah. But so I think we're both saying the same thing in essence. Like they need options.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like criminalizing homelessness should be the last thing we should do.
Right. And that's not what we elected people to do. And while some people are okay with, this was their choice and they're okay with the counselor making this decision, most of those people are good Christian folk who attend church and Sunday school every Sunday. So help me understand how this is a great choice and the right choice for our fellow neighbors. I don't think so. I
don't think so either. And then as far as shelters, I don't even know if the House of Mercy is still a shelter, but I know it was one of the biggest shelters in Columbus.
Okay.
Off of, I think it's off 2nd Avenue, not 2nd Avenue, 1st Avenue, I believe. Right behind, Dunkin' Donuts on Veterans.
Okay.
Downtown area.
Right.
On that street behind that, there's House of Mercy. And then they just built the new Salvation Army. They house, that's off of 2nd Avenue. Okay. So they house the homeless, and so does the Valley Rescue Mission. I know they do a lot for the homeless. So those are 3 that I know of. I don't know if anymore.
And as the 2nd or the 3rd largest city, we can do better.
Yeah.
We can do we can build places that will house children, parents with both male and female children.
Temporary though.
Yeah, and put a program in place. You got to get a job. You got to save money. You got to do these things. We can implement programs that's going to be conducive to helping people as opposed to criminalizing them when they're down. And I would never be okay with that decision. Making it an ordinance. I just can't believe that, these good Christian folks that claim to care about people, like this was the decision, the best decision they thought was possible.
Yeah, and that's why we need people. We need people on city council who have that mindset and are going to think clearly about or second guess. Now, is it a good idea to, criminalize homelessness?
Right.
Yeah, we need people on city council who are going to actually think things out.
Right.
And not just
reactive.
Go along. Right. Because that's not how you fix the problem. And you can't arrest your way out of homelessness. Like, people should go to jail for felonies or serious crimes. They shouldn't be going to jail because you're indigent or homeless.
Right.
Or maybe you stole some candy or, you know what I mean? Like, the jails are already full for non-violent crimes. You know what I mean? For violent crimes.
Yeah, and so when people think that, they want to build a larger jail and they want to add a mental health unit and things of that nature, people feel bad about that. People are not happy with that because what it seems like is what they want to do is collect the homelessness community and put them in a jail as opposed to a living situation where they can rehabilitate if they would like to get on their feet, save money, and I would make it a requirement. You live here, you don't have to pay, but you do have to get a job, and then you do have to save money so you can eventually get on your own, and it just be a transition place. Do we have anything like that here at Columbus?
I think we have something similar. Are you talking about as far as
like an apartment place, home place?
We don't have that. We don't have that, but it's needed. Now, like I said, I think the House of Mercy does something similar to that. Like you can come there, if you're gonna be there, you gotta work, and then it's temporary. So they expect you to have your stuff together and
save your money, and all that kind of stuff like that. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I just think we could have done a better job in that. Now, one thing that they did mention is that LaJoy said there was different levels to, homelessness. His first thing would be to get them off the street, help them get a job, and then find a place to live, not the Ralstons and not tents and things of that nature.
Well, I would say yes to Ralston.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. The Ralston should be used as a transition housing unit. I get that, and we saw what happened in Atlanta with some of these places that are being subsidized.
Yes.
And these landlords are making millions.
Yes.
And our
Billionaires.
Yeah. But yeah, the Ralston is absolutely a great place that I think would work for people, because there used to be a lot of camps around the Ralston at one point too. But yeah, it would be a great place for people to transition off the street, give them somewhere to live, give them a year, maybe a year and a half to get their stuff together. And then they partner with whatever these different businesses.
Right.
Yeah, so people can have options.
Right.
Because some people, it's unfortunate that they're homeless and they don't choose that. Life happens.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then there are those, for whatever reason, would like to just be homeless.
Right.
But then even there are options for them too, because I think you give them options, those that want to be homeless, and say, okay, you want to live on the street, we can't have you living on the street, but if you choose to live on the street, you know what I mean, then maybe you go volunteer over here, or maybe you do something.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
right.
I don't have all the answers, but but you don't send them to jail.
Right. And for our veterans, Fort Benning has plenty of land. Plot them out of like the RV situation, and let them have at it, and that would take care of them being in the city, living off of the streets and things of that nature. Brielle suggested that they need employment, and that he mentioned how some people are temporarily homeless and some are homeless by choice, and that the cleanup portion, which I agree, right? So while I have a heart for our community, our unhoused, it does not mean that you turn your living situation into a dumpster. And a lot of them, the camps, that is what's been the problem that brings attention to the fact that they're there, is because trash is everywhere. So that is an issue, and that's the issue for anyone who cares about our community.
I agree.
So
I agree. So when it comes to those who, are living in tents and there's trash everywhere and it's, it looks bad, I would say, and I don't know if the task force is already doing this, but you gotta have some kind of, I guess, dignity. Even though you're homeless, it doesn't mean that you have to be nasty. It doesn't mean that you have to be trashy. It doesn't mean you have to be messy. But so I think that's probably the biggest problem that concerns people. They're homeless, but they're also leaving trash everywhere, like you said, and making things an eyesore. And I lost the thought that the point I was trying to make. But those who have trash everywhere, I think they are, and I don't want to use the word problem, but they're the ones who are causing, they're the ones who are causing the challenges for people when it comes to blight, and when it comes to
So prime example to what you're saying is on South Lumpkin Road, the church was gracious. It was nice enough to allow them to camp on their property. Eventually they were moved because buggies lined up, clothes, trash, all kinds of things all over the place. And so that became the issue. Church provided you grace. They said, hey, you can use our property. But the residue of all the extra stuff that they had all over the place, that becomes blight for the community. And then people start calling them like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? And so that, is a concern.
Listen, I think that's a hard issue to tackle if you really think about it, because like I said, you don't criminalize it, but what do you do? And I get we got some smart people in this city, you know what I mean? And we have the resources to make it happen.
Absolutely.
but they just, other things are prioritized, like the baseball stadium. Other things are prioritized, like data centers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
yes.
if they wanted to fix the problem and make more or build more shelters, they would.
Right.
But they don't want to.
And I believe it's been done in other cities. A well-oiled machine, as far as shelters, can exist.
Yeah.
There, it can be dignity and respect within a community where you are helping people to get on their feet. They're saving money and they're transitioning. There can be success stories in it. That's what I'm trying to say. But our city council, our task force, they have yet to provide those options for our community, and that is where I believe the problem is for me.
Yeah, and then too, when it comes to homelessness, you got to think about some people are on drugs, some people are strung out. You know what I mean? So it's like, how do you combat that part too? Because you know, like we talked about, you don't want to put them in jail,
right?
But some people need treatment. You know what
right.
I mean? So I don't know how.
And it's a shelter for that. You know, it's like a triage, what they teach you in the military.
Right, but you can't force them to go. So then what do you do?
Depending on where you're at, you know, this is the type, you know, you wouldn't be in a regular shelter with people who don't have drug issues or people with children.
Right.
So it'd be a specific place, but like you said, you can't force them. But yeah.
But I do think what you do is, I think you make it uncomfortable for them. No, you don't put them in jail, but I think you got to go to those camps and break up the camp and make them move somewhere else. And then when they go somewhere else, you break that camp up. So you make it uncomfortable for them. So then maybe they'll get frustrated. You know what? Let me go get a job. Or let me go, you know, seek out some resources or something.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's complex. Like, you know, I don't think it's a one size fits all answer to it. But
but jail and $1,000 fine is a last resort, and so it seemed like it was the first result for our city council. Right,
and according to the Constitution, being poor or indigent is not a crime.
Right.
You know what I mean? There was just a case the other day, I think that was overturned, where somebody owed a debt, a car loan or something. I can't remember where it was at, but they were put in jail. And the judge came back and overturned it and was like, listen, we can't be putting people in jail because they don't have because they don't have the money. That's the same thing they're doing with homelessness. You don't have the money to live, so you need to go to jail. Like, who does that? So it's not homelessness per se that's the problem. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, poverty. People either can't afford to not can't afford to, but we don't, you know, there's a bunch of different dynamics of why somebody's homeless. That's all I'm trying to say.
And I've heard someone put it like this: anyone, you know, any average person is one paycheck away from being, you know, unhoused.
Especially in Columbus. Like, you know, poverty is high in Columbus. And there's not a lot of jobs, so that pay a livable wage, unless you got a specialized experience. And the military is like the biggest employer here anyway. So.
Yes, and Miss Mallard said they have to choose treatment. That's right. Yes, and homelessness is increasing, unfortunately. Yes. So, and you know, when you say they have to choose treatment, I thought about the fact that, you know, where are their family? You know, are their families local here, or are their families in another state? Because, you know, that helps too when family contributes to, you know, saying, hey, we love you, we care about you, and just, you know, encouraging them, either come stay or, you know, this or that.
Yeah.
So it's not just complete strangers, you know, stepping in and trying to maneuver or challenge what they have going on.
Yeah, and then some families don't even know that their loved one is homeless.
Right,
you know what I mean?
That's so true. That's so true. Have no idea. Another hot topic was the flock cameras.
Yeah, that's nationwide hot topic right there.
Yes, all of the candidates were asked about the flock cameras. Keep them or get rid of them. I think 3 of them answered from an honest place, and 3 of them just said what the public might want to hear.
Yeah.
So with that was, let's see, Dr. Bryant said yes, she would get rid of them. Kelly said yes, that's Steve Kelly said yes. Kogel said yes. And we know that's not the truth. We know she just said what the people wanted to hear. And then the last three, which was Brialt, LaJoy, and Hughley, said, of course, they want to protect people's privacy. However, they've seen cases where the flock cameras have been, essential in solving crime and helping out, in our community. So what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't think that the cameras are needed. I really don't. I think they're only needed in school zones. I don't think they're needed.
The black cameras, those black cameras?
Yeah, you're talking about
yeah.
So when they say they're just recording daily.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think that's okay. And then too, they also said that these cameras are storing information. They're storing your information.
That part.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't agree with it. You can combat crime. There's 100 ways to combat crime. I do understand that it helps, but at the same time, you're violating somebody's privacy. So, I don't think there's a clear-cut answer, but for me, I feel like they're, I don't like them.
So I was driving up Buena Vista, coming from the Midland area, driving up that Buena Vista road. I took a left, that'll land you onto Steam Mill Road. It's a black flock camera right there, and I'm just looking at it, and in my mind I'm wondering what all it can see in my car. Like, is it doing facial recognition? Yeah. My mind is just all over the place about what type of information it's taking in. Now, I know our city has invested in those cameras. What I like it for is for illegal dumping. And in areas where people are, throwing out trash and illegal dumping, just having them random on everyday streets, I don't know if they're good for accidents. I don't know, but I think that those last three candidates gave an honest answer because the cameras aren't going anywhere, but I do believe that citizens' information should be protected, privacy, but guess what? If you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, if you're on any type of social media, out the window with privacy and, being protected, because we have these conversations right now, and then I'll get on my social media page and see that whatever I talked about is showing up in ads.
Yeah.
So I think we are far above and away from privacy these days.
Yeah, and we talked about this. That's the price you pay for technology. You know what I mean? Like, we love our technology, but then on the other side of it is, your privacy is being compromised, and so
all in it. And that's the same thing about the data centers, right? We have a lot of people who are not for data centers, and I think more so is the location.
Yeah, that's what I think.
It's the location.
Because they're needed. Data centers they absolutely are needed.
All of these moms are Amazon moms, they're Microsoft moms, they're, they use technology, social media, all of those things. And so I don't think that they, want to go against those things. Yeah. But I think it's just the location of where they're attempting to place it. That is the major problem. And some people don't want it in Columbus whatsoever. Yeah. Whatsoever. And, those types of people, they are, they don't leave a social footprint at all. They use checks and they're not, they don't use their real name and different things on social media. So, we are a diverse world with different perspectives. And I think that's one of the unique things about City Council is that they do have a representation of people who have different thoughts and ideas. Yeah. As we've attended these meetings, and Ms. Mallard said in ways to absolutely the environment. We've seen people, a few people who are for these data centers, and we've seen people who are against. Right now, I believe the majority are against, and they are looking at, council and mayor for those people who are going to be against it. But what I hope they understand is that the people who are in office right now are the ones who are making the decisions, and it won't be up to the people who are elected to have to be able to change or fix anything that's already been implemented. The mayor has already, did what he's done behind closed doors. City council, they already know what's coming here already. So these people who are newly elected, while they may be able to give an opinion, they can't say that they're going to be able to fix it or change it or stop it. Although Mr. LaJoy said an injunction.
Yeah.
He said implementing an injunction to stop whatever plans they have for data. But I can't see him winning that battle.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Dr. Van Doren also said about the moratorium. That's what the moratorium was for.
Yeah. Allowing the new people to come in.
Right, right. So I agree with that. There needs to be a moratorium. And like you said, people are not necessarily upset about, I mean, those that are directly got to walk out their front door and look at it. Yeah, I get it.
Right.
But people are upset about the lack of transparency. They don't have a lot of answers.
And they are so mad at Missy.
And they feel like they're not being, they're not
Bless
being,
her heart,
they
they
can't
are
trust them.
so mad at Missy. And Missy is just an employee, right? It's not her business. It's not her bringing it here, per se.
Yeah.
She is just the bearer of bad news. And she's happy and thrilled
Yes, she is.
to bring it. But the people are so, I have seen the social media group for the hyperscale data centers, and they are on there about Missy, bless her heart.
I get it though, I understand it because Choose Columbus is advocating for the data center. So I get why they're upset at her too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She's an individual though, she's,
She is, but she's advocating for it. You know what I mean? So people, just think about it, if we had to walk outside our door and see a data center. Yeah, but we wouldn't feel like that if they're putting the data center right in front of our house.
Yeah.
We wouldn't care if it was just our job. We're mad because you want this and we don't want it.
Yeah, I got you.
For several reasons. There are environmental issues, the electricity bill issues, or the power issues. Yeah, so, and I believe we are as a whole, as a city of Columbus, because I think are they going to use Flint and Georgia Power or just Flint?
So Flint is initially the power source.
But it's going to carry over to Georgia Power too, right? Or
I'm not sure.
Okay.
So what I've heard before is that, it'll start off with one power system and then down the line transition to something else. How you doing, Miss Debbie? How you doing, Queen?
How you doing? Welcome.
Yes.
But yeah, we're talking about the mayoral candidates, and we're talking about the debate or the forum that they had a couple days ago at CSU. We were there. We want to know your thoughts, what y'all think about the candidates and how they performed if you saw it. And I think you can go back and watch it.
Yeah, it's on social media. The Young Dems did it for live.
Yeah, if you missed it.
Now, another thing they talked about is having town halls for each district, 8 districts.
That was a good question.
Throughout the year. And of course, everybody gave the answer people wanted to hear. Yes, yes, yes. But what tripped me up was when Ms. Kogel suggested that the city council is currently doing a great job in communicating with citizens and conducting town halls and things of that nature. How many of you agree with that statement? She said city council is currently doing a great job with town halls and communicating with the citizens. Well, I'll be the first to disagree.
Okay. Why?
Ms. Mallard said Missy's separate from the transaction. Yeah, she's been hired by the mayor to do this job, and so the brunt of any decision really should be on him and the city council, the people that have the power to make the decisions. She's the facilitator of the situation. And when I tell you they are giving it to Missy, they are giving it to Missy. But yes, she said they are lying. I know she is lying. Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Yeah.
And of all of the city councilors to sit there and say that with a straight face, I was very shocked that she would say that the councilors are doing a pretty good job. I don't think that's the temperature of the city.
It was a political answer. And so a lot of the candidates it was just surface level answers and polished answers. Like, to me, when you answer, if you're not making the room uncomfortable, then you're not giving an honest answer.
Right, you're just saying what people want to hear. Right, what you think they want to hear.
Now, LaJoy gave his honest answers. Like, everything he said, you can take it to the bank.
Yeah. Yeah.
For the most part, I believe he's being honest about what he's talking about.
Right. Yeah.
Whether you agree with it or not.
Transparent about all of it.
Yeah.
And so, like, how do you feel? Because, you know, people like Mr. Allen in District 6 or 2, he never answers or responds to emails. Davis, I don't even think Davis has a social media presence, but what they say he does is he meets at a coffee shop. Yeah. And, you know, you can catch him there. And, you know, is that conducive to all of his citizens, maybe those who have a job, sir, and, you know, can't show up at a coffee shop in the mornings, you know, and they need to reach you by text or email or phone call. Yeah. So, you know, there's room for improvement there. And for her to say that they're doing a great job was just a flat out lie. And so how I feel about that, you know, if she can lie about that, and she's lying about a lot of other things too. And
people who are paying attention know the truth from the lie. Yeah. You know what I mean? And we can't look up right now and find any forums that have been held by city council or the candidates in their districts.
Right. And they do a poor job of, like, we found out Friday during the meeting at the Choose Columbus that Monday the mayor was going to host a workshop, forum, or what have you for data centers. Well, the people who went were not happy about it. They felt like it was a career fair or something like that. Like they were walking around from table to table learning information, not what they expected. And so that's not the first thing. Like Kogel, she did her not throw it in the bag. She did her get on the bus, you know, ride through the areas. Last minute, don't give people enough time to plan on the schedule and make sure they can attend. But, you know, to me, if she was doing what she needed to do, she doesn't need to waste people's time riding on the bus to figure out what areas in her district are not up to par. You can, every time you ride down South Lumpkin to your association meeting, you see what's out of shape and you choose not to do anything about it. Yeah. One more hot topic, that property freeze, right?
Yeah, property tax.
This is where you could tell where some people did not have an informed understanding about the property freeze, because it is something that has been voted on by the citizens, and every time it goes up for vote, it always passes. Yeah. We have a demographic of folk in Columbus, Georgia, who will not allow that freeze to dismantle. And it's unfortunate, because what happens is, as one of the candidates mentioned, you know, I've been living in my house since whenever the freeze started, so my property tax is like 2%. Yeah. $300, but when you move in, yours is like thousands of dollars, right? And people are finding that that's not fair. And also it prevents the amount of money that goes into our community, because certain people are stuck at certain rates. Yeah. So asking our candidates to fix that when it's a citizen voted situation, it's not helpful.
Yeah, and Mr. Huey pointed that out too. Yeah. A lot of misinformation up there. But you're only gonna know that if you know what you're talking about.
Right, and so he mentioned that it has went up for vote twice, and the citizens voted for it to remain. So there's not anything a councilor or a mayor can do to change it, because it's in the hands of citizens. And fortunately, the majority of Columbus who benefit from this freeze are going to show up in numbers to make sure that they continue with it. Now, I think it's, you know, a good thing to have for people who are on fixed income, are disabled, and our elderly community. But, you know, also for your younger people who they say they want to stay here in Columbus, if they want to be new home owners, well, then they run into the problem of having, you know, high taxes that they may not be able to afford as a young person. And the people who have the freeze don't care about that. They don't care about the younger community. Yeah. And I think that's one other thing that I wanted to ask you about. I see some of the candidates, they keep saying and suggesting that it's important that the young people want to stay in Columbus. Like, what's your thoughts on that?
To stay in Columbus?
Right. They graduate from high school.
Mm-hmm.
They want them to stay. They want to make Columbus somewhere that the students, the young people want to stay.
No, I get it. I agree with that. Like, yeah, Columbus should be a place where people that are from here, when they graduate and go out into their careers, want to stay and reinvest, the money back into the city. I agree. We should try to make Columbus a great place for people to live and to work, career-wise, because that's how you grow, you know what I mean? I don't have a problem with them leaving, I don't have a problem with that, but I do understand why they want to keep talent. I get that, because that helps the city grow, you know what I mean? That brings more, it makes Columbus more attractive. So I get it, but as far as people leaving, people are going to leave for whatever reason.
Right.
But yeah, I do agree, you should try to retain as much talent as you can in Columbus, so.
Yeah, so I get that, and I don't have a problem with young people leaving. I don't have a problem with them graduating from high school and getting as far away from Columbus as they possibly can to explore and to live and to grow and to learn and, see what this whole nation, this whole world has to offer. I just don't think that we should expect a child to graduate from high school and then stay right here in Columbus. Now, some people may love that. They may, enjoy that type of lifestyle. That's fine. But to make it one of your talking points as a candidate, I don't think that that is something that's a challenge. What I would rather than focus on is doing their research and understanding the kind of people who do live here, the majority of people who do come and stay. You have the military people, because the base is here, they're going to relocate here and they're going to stay here. What jobs are you going to offer those people who may pay at this amount to maybe help them to grow and live and continue to stay here? Because that's one of the major factors, is that what we heard is that you transition out of the military making this kind of money,
right? And
then you come into the Columbus area and you're making way below what you're worth and what you're used to. That is a challenge I believe they should work on, is making sure people get quality wages according to, what they bring to the community. That is what I would work on.
Yeah. I agree, and I was a victim of that. Got out of the Navy. My background was in aviation maintenance, aircraft mechanics, and engineering. Got out of the Navy. When I came to Columbus, there was no job market for my expertise, like none.
Right.
I went to the airport, nothing, and they were offering me pennies to do the job.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, they got to make it. I don't have, and I agree with you to a certain degree. That's not a challenge, right? Yeah. Or maybe it is, but it's way down the list.
Yeah, it's okay. Let the babies go and explore America and learn, and then, bring the culmination of what they've learned and experienced back to Columbus. But, being in this environment, a lot of them need to get on out.
I wouldn't say that.
Get on out, yes, honey.
With the current climate, with the current climate in Columbus and leadership, yes, I do agree. If you can find somewhere else to go until things get better. I agree.
Educating and sightseeing and living, and that's how you bring and make a place better, and don't have groupthink and everybody is just like this small, city mindset.
Well, I think you can also do that through traveling too, though. For example, I just talked to my cousin who's relocating to Ghana.
Ooh,
he's relocating to Africa, him and his wife, to live permanently.
See?
But that's from traveling, though. They travel. They've been so many different places, you know what I mean? But I think you can gain that insight, that experience, and new ideas from just traveling and visiting different cultures and places. And then come back and, make positive changes in Columbus.
Yeah.
But like I said, I would like to see young talent remain in Columbus, because you can still do great things. I would say, like I said, go travel, come back, bring those ideas. Because that's what we do. When we go other places, we see how things are done over there, and we can use what they're doing, is successful, and apply it to what's going on in Columbus.
Right.
So
one thing I like about Auburn is that when you go into the mall, it's got Tiger City. You know, I love how they support their college life.
They have to, though.
Well, why not? Do it
Same
here.
thing in Athens. Remember, we went to Athens, it was the same thing.
Well, they don't do it here in Columbus. We got Columbus State University. You go in, the mall is right across the street. There's no kind of cougar love or nothing going on in there whatsoever.
Because it's a huge difference between Auburn University and
well,
CSU.
we need to step it up. That's all I'm trying to say.
I would
we
say
need to
that.
step it up, honey.
I would say that.
See what you mean?
Well, because, but you got to think about Auburn. In Auburn, that university brings in all the money.
Okay.
You know what I mean? CSU doesn't do that for Columbus. Now, yeah, they do bring in some money, but
I think they need a
all they
partner.
offer is softball. They don't offer anything else. I don't know if they have a soccer team or not.
Basketball, they got basketball.
Oh, that's right, they do.
They need to partner and step it up a little bit. I mean, that might, encourage young people that do come here or do stay here and go to college to enjoy life a little bit, honey.
Nah, I don't think so. Because they do have a store on campus, like with that merchandise in there, hats,
I'm talking
t-shirts.
about the mall. You go in the mall, you got Tiger City. It's very nice.
Yeah, it's a possibility, but I don't think that's going to attract.
No, it's not going to, no partnership like that is not going to help.
I wouldn't say it's not going to help. But I'll say I don't know if it's necessarily needed though.
Okay. Well, I would like to see some, collaboration there with the mall and just in the city more. Columbus State has a lot of real estate.
It does, but so
downtown. And
what are you saying it would do though for the city if they partner, if CSU?
A little morale for the college students. You walk in, it's Cougar City or Cougar Town.
But they got that on campus already.
But so does Auburn, honey.
Yeah, but it's different in Auburn though because the whole state or half the state might be Auburn fans.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Versus CSU. CSU they just got a tiny, only those that go there, alumni.
Well, I think they could turn it up just a little bit.
Okay.
I think they could turn it up a little bit. I think the last thing to talk about for me that I took from the forum was how would you prioritize incentives or, for a small business or corporation? And all of them had different answers. It was a yes or no question. So if it was a big incentive or something of that nature, would you prioritize corporations or your small businesses? And it was a great question. LaJoy said yes, he would prioritize. And I think he gave one of the best answers. Small businesses. He said small businesses are taxed like 5 times. Yeah. And they are, the meat and potatoes of a community. Kelly said, no, yes, it depends on the corporation and if it was going to bring in a set amount of jobs. Who is this? Cole said yes to supporting small businesses. Bryant said, Brialt said, it depends on what the corporation is bringing, as opposed to a small business. And then Mr. Hewley said, both were very important. So both were very important priorities. And I guess he would figure out how to, do it for both.
For me, I think you need both, but the priority needs to be small businesses.
I think so too.
Because like I talked to you about before, like big business will come in, but they're subject to leave.
Absolutely.
Leave you hanging at any time.
Absolutely.
And we've seen it.
Right.
So I think small business should be priority because they're gonna feed the city daily.
Yeah, and they're intertwined in your communities, supporting your communities, contributing to the community. So, right now I haven't seen, outside of the grants for COVID and outside of whatever program they have for small businesses or entrepreneurs, but you got to invest $2,000 in Startup Columbus or something like that in order to get assistance. I haven't really seen what they're doing for small businesses here in Columbus. Even though you have people like Kogel who will champion it for small businesses, when asked, what exactly do you have or what exactly are you bringing to the table for small businesses, I've not seen anything yet. I've seen a lot of small businesses having to take a lot of their time to clean up, to reach out to council, to get things taken care of in the communities, as opposed to having more time to work on their own business. So,
yeah.
And that's on Buena Vista, that's on St. Mary's, that's on, all in our districts really. District 7 and District 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some of District 4. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Small businesses, they're definitely needed. And big business, I think for whatever reason, gets the outshines smaller business. But like I said, in the long run, big business may just up and leave town, and then those however many jobs that came, whether it's 5,000 new jobs or 3,000, those jobs are gone.
Gone.
You know what I mean? So
right. Ms. Mallard says incentives equals tax breaks, more of tax and cost burden on the people in the case of the data center. Right. No incentives, no stipulations on how the company interacts with the people. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you now, based on what we saw for the mayoral candidate, if you were to place all the candidates, how many of them? Is it 6?
Yeah.
How would you rank them on how they did on this forum? Who would be your number 1? Who would be your number 6?
So my number one would be I would say Mr. Hughley would be my number 1. And then my number 2 would be Dr. Bryant, number 2. Number 3, Mr. LaJoy. Number 4, Mr. Kelly. And then number 5, Mr. Briot.
Okay.
That's how I rank everybody.
Okay.
So, and I'll tell you why. So Mr. Hughley, he has a lot of knowledge and he has the experience. So a lot of the questions that were asked, I feel like he already has the experience from being in government already. So he knows how it operates and what you can do as a mayor and what you can't do. As far as Keitra goes, she answered the questions a little bit better than the rest of them. You know what I mean? And she did give some analysis and she did give some metrics on things that could help as far as like crime is concerned. So I'll give her that. Now when it comes to Mr. LaJoy, with his background in law enforcement, he he has some solutions, but for me the solutions are just to throw people in jail. I think that's his main concern is to lock people up. But history shows you cannot arrest your way out of crime. It doesn't work like that because poverty is the reason for crime. You fix poverty, you fix crime at the same time. So Mr. Kelly, he was just giving surface level answers. Oh, I forgot about Kogel. Yeah, Mr. Kelly. So I would put Kogel number 4. Kelly number 5, and then Briot number 6.
Okay.
6 of them, right?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. So that's what I would give. That's what I would give them. And like I said, it was just a bunch of surface level answers. Nobody wanted to give an honest answer except Mr. LaJoy. Nobody wanted to basically make the room uncomfortable and tell them what they're not going to do. You know what I mean? Well, I give that to Mr. Hughley. He did say, you can't do A, B, and C when it comes to being a mayor.
Right. Because he already knows, from that experience.
Yeah, some things the mayor has no control over. Like ICE, for example. There's nothing you can do to ICE because this is a federal agency that's dealing with ICE. It's not state level. But yeah, so that's how I rank them. Number 1, Hughley. Number 2, Bryant. Number 3, who did I put number 3? Number 3, LaJoy. number 4, Kelly, number 5, Kogo, number 6, Brielle.
Okay, so we share a little bit in our rankings.
Okay.
I would say mine first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
And then I'll go into my reasonings, right?
Okay.
So my first person is Mr. Hughley. Based on his answers were accurate, from a place of substance and just knowing, how to answer those questions. I said I was just going to list them. Okay, number 2 was Dr. Bryant. My number 3 was Brielle.
Really?
Yes. My number 4.
Interesting.
My number 4 was Kelly. My number 5 was LaJoy, and my number 6 was Kogo. Okay, so Mr. Hughley. Now I wasn't 100% impressed with his delivery of his, answers. I felt he was very calm and collected. However, what's so important now and what people are looking for now is change, right? And what he represents right now is what we've already had. So what I want to hear more is from the mayor's perspective. We understand he's experienced. We understand he knows what he's talking about. From the city manager's perspective, I want to know from the mayor's perspective, like how is he going to invigorate this city and move us in the right direction? Because right now we have a mayor who is trash.
Yeah.
He is absolutely trash.
Well, I wouldn't say he's trash, but
that's me.
land your plane.
That's me. And people, people in the community, they say that there's 5 families who run, this city, and they run the mayor. And I don't know that. I'm not from here, but it seems to be the consensus. And if they're running the mayor and this is the best we're going to get from him, I hope that we can expect more from our mayor and Mr. Hughley.
Okay.
So that's all I'm trying to say. Like, I want to see the energy. I want to see the vigor. I want to see, the change. And, like...
setting the tone.
Yes, yes. I really want to see that energy. I don't want to see city manager Hughley. I want to see Mayor Hughley. One that's going to transform this city. And the things that he says, I want to feel it when it comes out of his mouth. And that was missing for me.
Gotcha.
And the thing. My next person was Dr. Bryant, PhD in leadership. She's done her research. She's talked about things that work in Baltimore, things that she can implement here in Columbus. Does not translate to experience for me. She's knowledgeable. However, there's no experience. Even though she says she's trained and she's did this, that, and the third, personal situations would have me to question that. Because if you've trained CEOs, if you've trained government officials, if you know so much, then personal decisions that hurt our community, that hurt one person in our community, I just can't see how that translates to the mindset to be an effective leader. So although she did do a great job with answering her questions, and I felt like the audience loved a lot of things that she had to wear, that she had to say. I was thinking about what she had on. I did hear, and I agree, that it was not appropriate. She had like a jumpsuit, culotte, whatever.
Yeah.
Business attire, that's where it's at. Blazer, nice blouse. You saw Kogo. That's what she had on. It's
standard.
Yeah, I get you want to be different, you want to be yourself, but at the same time, we're expecting you to show up and look the part. Keisha Lance Bottoms, she doesn't show up and, she's always got a blazer, she's well put together. That's what we expect in a position of CEO. My next person was Brielle. Hilarious, all over the place, funny and comical. He's a native of Columbus, Georgia. I'm not sure if he cares or not. I think that the person, Mr. Flowers, is he his campaign manager or what have you? Like, they're twins, in how they show up in the world. And he at this point, he's just not mayor material. I don't think he's in it for real. I don't think that he's serious. I think he has the money to have block parties and feed over 500 people, I'm sorry. He has the money to spend and waste and have a good time in this election. But like most people, I believe it's a ploy to split votes, and he has the time and the money to do it. But he did answer honestly, I think, in most of his questions. He was very honest.
Okay.
Kelly, he's not mayor material to me. I just felt like he was playing around up there, like it was a theatrics or it was a show.
Really?
Yeah, you know, I'm not Mr. LaJoy. You know, of course we know about Mr. LaJoy, how he shows up, and then of course Kogel. She didn't answer any of the questions well. She is not connecting to both sides as they suggest, and she's not earned the reputation of a person that's well liked among everybody in the city. So I just, wish she would have several seats.
Okay.
But yeah, so that was my situation.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, all right.
All right. So, what are your thoughts on the mayoral candidates? Who do y'all believe is the front runner? Who do you think is serious and who do you think is not? Please put it in the comment section. And please share this. We can't say enough that the conversation does not stop here. We want y'all to continue the conversation because, the things that are going on in Columbus right now, it's taking our city backwards, not forwards. So we got to do a better job as well as leadership.
Right.
To do a better job.
Right. And especially like when you're attached to the current government that we have now, you really have to step it up and make sure people understand what's going to be different. What's going to be different. Because right now, mostly people are judging you by the position you've held and not the position that you are running for.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. You ready to land the plane?
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining us. We'd love to hear your comments and your thoughts on, what you thought of the forums and who's your favorite pick so far, for mayoral and the city council. And then we also have, other people that we have on the ballot that we have to vote for. So we want to make sure we're keeping up with the governor's race, the lieutenant governor's race, the state secretary of state race, all of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Listen, that's all we got tonight.
Yeah.
And like you said, of course, we always appreciate the participation. We always appreciate the support and y'all tuning in.
Yes.
Make sure that you are voting informed, and that's why we have this platform, to make sure that you are doing your due diligence.
Yes.
To get out and vote informed. If you're not registered, please go register to vote so you can be a part of the process. Silence is not neutral.
That's right.
It's participation.
That's right.
So we got to do our part. You know what I mean? Tonight we talked about accountability. We talked about leadership and opportunity. But those things don't move. They don't move. Well, they move only if you are engaged.
That's
right.
right.
They don't move if you're just going to sit by idly and watch.
Right.
So you got to be engaged. But peace and love. We appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all come back next Sunday. We got a great show for y'all. We hope that y'all find value in Candid Conversation. We do our best to provide, a platform for free thinkers, for people to come and have an honest, uncomfortable conversation.
Yes, very candid.
Yeah, like we always say, we talk about topics that are sometimes
unpopular,
but important.
But important, yes.
Yeah, so we can leave y'all with that. Thanks again. Peace and love. Y'all have a good night.